Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FutureScope Black Founders Programme brief event. We're really glad to have you here with us to learn more about the programme and Digital Catapult's motivations behind it. And you'll hear from us, our programme partner, Sony Music UK. Once again, I'm the delivery manager here running this programme. So just before we get started, some housekeeping points. We will be recording the session. There'll be a short time for Q&A at the end of the presentation, and the chat function will be active and the Q&A function will be active for you to send in questions while the presentation is going on. So it will be published online afterwards for marketing and communication purposes. So and that's been noted in the event chat as well. So before we continue, I'd just like to have a few words from Jessica Rushworth, who is our Chief Strategy and Policy Officer at Digital Catapult. So I'll just stop sharing my screen for a moment and have her come on screen.
Hi again, I'm Jessica Rushworth. I'm the Chief Strategy and Policy Officer at Digital Catapult. And I'm really delighted to be talking to you on this webinar today. So this programme has been a long time in the planning and it's fantastic that it's been launched. So Digital Catapult is part of the Catapult network and we're a not-for-profit private sector company. We've been going for nearly 10 years, but right at the heart of Digital Catapult has always been our work with small and innovative companies and also our work in the creative sector. Essential to that is that we're able to find the best companies, the best founders, wherever they may be, and our success is judged on your success. So before we get started, first of all, I would really like to thank Sony Music UK, SoundCloud for sponsoring this programme. Also like to thank Innovate UK, because without their core funding, we wouldn't be able to run this programme. And then I would like to thank the community partners, mentors and programme consultants who have really helped us to shape this programme and to make sure that we reach as many innovative businesses as possible. So thank you so much for joining today, and I'll hand back over to Evelyn, who will go through the detail with you.
So to speak a little bit more about Digital Catapult and the work we do. For some of you, this may be your first interaction with us, but as has been said, we are an innovation agency and we're the leading authority on advanced technology in the UK. But what does that actually mean to some of you? So our mission is to accelerate the early adoption and application of advanced technologies to benefit the UK economy. And we do this by helping businesses to translate tech innovation into their products and services that will transform key industries, increase productivity and secure the UK's future as a global competitive country. We deliver specialized acceleration and innovation programs to industry challenges and run it on various themes. We also have testbed facilities. We run pilots and we run proof of concepts and test new business models. And additionally into that, we facilitate research and development projects. We inform policy recommendations and lead research on emerging tech trends. So to help us do that, we work with all sorts of stakeholders. So we work with government, startups and scale-ups, academia, industry, and investors. So to talk about why we at Digital Catapult are running this program and sort of the rationale behind why we want to run a program that's specifically targeted at Black founders, we have Shore Valley Ventures who will be speaking on the investment gap that impacts Black founders. So I'll let George and Miriam, who are speakers, introduce themselves fully. If they just want to come online and unmute themselves, and then I'll stop sharing my screen and let them chat away.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miriam Marungu. So I'm the Startup Investment Manager here at Digital Catapult. And again, thank you for your time and for joining us. And thank you to George as well from Shore Valley Ventures, who'll tell us a little bit more about himself in a minute. So a little bit about the work that I do at Digital Catapult. So I work with founders and really predominantly pre-seed seed founders and to provide support on your investment readiness journey. So hopefully if you are joining us on the program, you'll see quite a lot of me. So my role is to really run investment activities from investment masterclasses, workshops, and really providing office hours to provide a more tailored support during your investment and your fundraising journey. So I guess I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the gap and the kind of, I guess, the issue and why the programs come about. And it'll be great to hear a little bit more from George, a little bit about you and your role at Shore Valley Ventures.
No problem. Thank you very much, Miriam, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone who's dialed in to this webinar. My name is George Mensa. I'm a principal at Shore Valley Ventures. We are a venture capital firm investing across the UK and Ireland. We've been going since 2017. We invest at the seed stage into B2B software companies. I guess the most relevant area that we focus on in regards to this program is around immersive technologies and gaming. And it's a privilege, honestly, to be supporting this program and being able to support from an investor capacity. In terms of myself, I've been in VC for just shy of 5 years now. I've worked with a number of founders and also angel investors and different entrepreneurs. And I think one of the things that's always been very apparent to me is the lack of funding for Black founders. And so when this opportunity popped up early this year, I didn't have to think very long about supporting it. And honestly, I've already made some interesting developments in terms of my own relationships being part of this program. So I'm very grateful to Digital Catapult for offering me this opportunity. But the stats are really damning. I think it's 0.24% of VC funding in the UK goes to Black founders, and in context, that's you need to find 400 founders to get to one Black founder, which is, even if you just look at it from a statistical point of view, that's not representative of the population at all. And if you think about how much Black creatives and founders and entrepreneurs contribute to the digital entertainment industry, it's something needs to be done. And so I'm glad to be part of this program, and look forward to hopefully meeting some of you through the program.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, George. And I guess you kind of touched on it somewhat, but I was wondering what your real motivation was and for joining the program as a consultant. Of course, you have a few consultants who joined us. What was the main kind of, I guess, driver for you to come on board?
I think at our core level, Miriam, is just I believe in the equality of opportunity. And if you look at what digital, if you look at what Black creators, Black founders, Black entrepreneurs, operators have contributed to the entertainment industry over the digital era, it's so significant. And I know it's not a digital form of entertainment, but I was just reading the other day that Beyonce's tour is grossing $2 billion, which is almost unheard of. And I think she's one of very few creatives that's been able to have the opportunities that a lot of black entrepreneurs and founders and creatives strive for. And so for me to be part of this program, it's like I said, it was a no-brainer for me to support and help level the playing field somewhat. If I can do that would be fantastic. If I can just play a small part in that, for me that would be the ideal outcome.
Yeah. And I guess you touched on some of the stats as well. Make for really kind of start reading. And I guess to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, I read a report actually authored by Erica Brodnock, who's also one of our program consultants. So she wrote a report called Gender Beyond Diversity, which really looks at how money has been invested according to race, gender, educational background over a 10-year period between 2009 and 2019. And the report really, some of the key takeaways for me were, the way she kind of mentioned, and you touched on it there, Black founders received, less than 0.24% of venture funding, although the Black population makes up about 3.5% of the UK population. So I guess that's quite stark. And even when Black entrepreneurs have raised funding, it tends to be the least amount of funding across different rounds. So that makes for kind of stark reading. So I guess in your opinion, and you've kind of touched on some of them, what are the other challenges Black founders face when raising investment?
I think the biggest challenge that they face is that first round, is getting to probably the traditional kind of first check-in, family, friends, angel rounds. I previously worked for an angel co-investment fund, and being able to test and experiment an idea with some very, very early foundational capital is a privilege that not a lot of Black founders, and it's shown in the stats. I think that's the biggest challenge. And then, later down the line, there is, probably some unconscious bias and not the ability to leverage, networks, or not having access to a network that allows them to get in the room with VCs. Historically, I think that's changed massively over the last 5 years, and particularly through the pandemic period, which kind of removes some certain barriers in terms of just being able to engage with investors, but there's still a lot more work to do. So I think access has been the biggest opportunity, and there's people taking a chance on you as an early stage founder, being a Black founder or entrepreneur. It's just inherently more difficult, and the stats show that.
And I think kind of touching on what you said a little bit there around, some of the networks, for example.
Yeah.
I think having worked from a more debt background, or in a more kind of debt background, and kind of moving into the more equity, VC, venture capital industry, I think where, in debt funding, debt financing tends to be a little bit more clearer cut. You either pass credit checks or you don't. You're either generating a certain amount of revenue or you're not. And I guess something that I've kind of noticed, and it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts, is around, I guess, the connection side, and really being able to leverage connections within the industry. So where VC venture capital is a lot more network and relationship driven, I guess what's been your kind of finding in your experience of venture capital in that format?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more relationships that are supportive of Black founders now. There's a number of different programs that VCs organize that help alleviate some of the historical challenges. But it's knowing who the right person is to speak to about investment. If you've got a deck, who do you send it to in the organization? Who's the best person to speak to? And how much should I ask for based on how much traction do I have? There's I guess the phrase that often is used is demystifying some of the process, because with receiving venture capital funding, there is often a process that relates to that, and it's understanding. I guess there's a really good book, and I'd recommend for anyone who's a founder out there, is by Brad Feld, which is around term sheets, and it highlights the importance of economics and control. The name of the book is evading me at the moment, but I can be sure to share it after this. But just the importance of that with VC, understand that it's not just money that you're receiving for an investment, but it's a trade-off between the control you have of your business or what you've created. There's a trade-off to be had with that. So understanding some of that is a key part of that process that I mentioned earlier.
And I guess looking forward and looking ahead with the programme coming up to the end of our session, but what are you hoping that the programme would achieve?
I'm hoping that the program really is geared towards the founders. So I think the most important thing is understanding what they want to take out of it and how we can help facilitate that. Clearly, there is going to be an aspect of that that relates to raising investment. So I hope that we as program consultants, we can help facilitate some relationships. And one thing we didn't talk about in regards to relationships just before is just the nature of warm intros. Us human beings, we are generally going to lean towards something that's been introduced to someone that we're already familiar with. So, there might be a founder in this program who wants to speak to a particular angel investor that I already know. I can help frame that conversation so that there isn't that friction there and it doesn't feel as cold. And those are some of the things I hope to facilitate conversations that lead to investment, that lead to perhaps finding the next key hire, that perhaps also lead to product development as well. Just really helping founders problem solve, because that's the core of what you do as a founder and operator.
Yeah, excellent. And I think to kind of touch on that as well, I think for me, it's really the program's going, that much of a distance to kind of close that gap and really level the playing field and make it a bit more of an equitable, playing field out there. And I guess, so moving on to the next section, Evelyn will tell us a little bit more about the program itself. Thank you very much, George, for your time.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and I look forward to meeting some of the attendees hopefully on the program.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam and George. That was really insightful, and I hope some people in the audience found that really helpful. So I'll just share my screen once again, and we'll continue on talking about the program. So the Black Founders Programme, the rationale behind this is basically around the statistics that George had already alluded to. So 59% of Black founders find accessing capital as the biggest challenge, compared to 41% of white founders. 38 Black founders received VC funding between 2009 and 2019. So to give us some more context, that's less than one founder per quarter over 10 years, which is really, really dire. And that's why Digital Catapult is running this program. So the makeup of this program is that it's a 16-week accelerator, and we're looking to onboard around 10 companies with Black founders who are early stage. They need to be working in the digital entertainment sector, and we use this as an umbrella term for all things creative in the music, gaming, and advertising and arts industries. So companies who join the program will get bespoke investment and business support from us, and they'll benefit from interacting with Sony Music UK and our wider network to aid their investment journey. So what are the benefits of joining the program? Well, first of all, the companies that join the program will get diagnostic sessions. So at the start, we'll have one-to-one sessions with the experts to determine the current business level and what your current investment needs are, in order to ensure that the support that we provide you is tailored to what your actual needs are. The business and investment support you get will be based on those findings. There are no fees or equity that we take, so FutureScope is free, and Digital Catapult does not ask for any equity in return. There is a financial contribution towards the cost of the program to enable Black founders to participate in the program. Having joined the program and upon completion, there are opportunities for more funding as being part of our alumni network as well. Obviously, there will be multiple companies on the program, so you'll benefit from sharing insights with other Black founders, collaborating on projects, and working through group sessions to problem solve in a creative way. There will also be masterclasses and mentoring from digital entertainment experts as well as Digital Catapult. You'll learn from people like Sony Music UK and others in the arts, music, gaming, and advertising industry. You'll also have access to the state-of-the-art facilities at Digital Catapult. So you'll have the opportunity to visit one or more of our facilities at our London office. We have immersive labs, we have a sonic lab as well. You can learn more about how our facilities can support your business moving forward in your company's journey. So that was just a quick summary of some of the benefits that you'll get from joining the program. But next, I want to hand over to Sony Music UK, and we'll have Harry. I'll allow him to introduce himself in more detail. So if Harry, you're happy to come on screen and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Evelyn. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. Really exciting to kind of echo everyone's thoughts to be up and running with this. It's been a long time that we've spent talking and planning this, so it's really great to be here with you. I'm Harry Asher-Sven. I'm the Director of Digital and New Tech at Sony Music UK. So I sit within a central team, which is called Fourth Floor Creative, which means that I work across all of our sub-labels. So Sony Music UK has around 12 sub-labels. Some of the bigger ones are RCA, Columbia, Ministry of Sound. As well as that, we've got Black Butter, Insanity, and a few others as well. So really what my team does day to day sits more on the marketing side rather than the kind of business development side. But what we, part of what we look for really is new companies and new ideas that can help open up new audiences for our artists, or to help us achieve something that we can't do by ourselves. So we spend a lot of time talking to startup founders, talking to new businesses, and trying to figure out where opportunity might be to test together, to experiment, or whether there's scope for deeper kind of integrations within Sony Music. I think it's really important to us that the makeup of the people that we're working with is diverse. I think over the years I've spoken to tons of Black founders with amazing ideas. And I always find it really surprising, well, unfortunately surprising, that many of them also struggle to raise or struggle to keep their businesses going. And it feels like this is something that we can, with this program, hopefully positively impact. So that's why we're here, and that's why we want to be a part of this program. So we're going to do a lot throughout the program. Some of it's been mentioned, but program launch event at Sony Music in July, which I think will be really exciting. Also a kind of final showcase event, which we want the investment community to attend. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to network with Sony Music UK, central teams, the business development teams, some of our labels. And also that's not just Sony Music UK, but across Sony Music Group as well. So we've got Sony Music Publishing and AWOL signed up to mentor and support on this program as well. And yeah, opportunities for the one-to-one interaction. I'll be deeply involved in the program. I think we want to be there and show up. We don't just want to sit on the sidelines. So yeah, want to be a kind of open door to you guys, really. And I'm going to pass back over to Evelyn.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, we're really excited to be working with Sony Music UK on this program, and there's lots of crossover in these sectors that we've spoken about in terms of music and arts, etc. So yeah, we're excited about what can come out of this partnership. So in terms of the partners that we have, you'll be able to work with Sony Music UK, but also SoundCloud are supporting the program, and we have a lot of mentors from them. Additionally, we also have community partners and other mentors across the spectrum of areas that we've spoken about. So to just name a few is YSYS, Colour in Tech, and Lewis Silking, who can provide expertise and knowledge on some of the other business areas, whether it's legal or hiring or products or reaching a new audience. We've curated a group of experts that will really hopefully supercharge your business and take it to that next level that you're seeking to reach. So in terms of the application process, I want to talk through some of the things that we are looking for to give you an idea of what we think is exciting. So in terms of businesses, we are looking for companies that are pushing the boundaries in gaming and music, advertising and more. So we're not only looking for artists who are looking to who have a business, but we're looking for businesses that are supporting the artists and other creatives. So for example, you may be working in immersive gaming. So is your company cutting edge and specializing in immersive technologies that transport people to another world? Are you using really beautiful virtual worlds, have intuitive user interfaces in virtual or augmented reality to accomplish this? Are you using artificial intelligence in an interesting way? So, for example, like Commutsi, they've created a hip hop poetry bot that trains an algorithm on Black art to produce meaningful poems. Or does your business support the creative industry from a production or technical standpoint? For example, you could be using 5G to facilitate multi-site festivals. At Digital Catapult, we and our partners ran a 5G festival that became the world's first live immersive hybrid concert. And that was a way for us to look into how we can create new business models for music professionals, live venues, and artists. So perhaps your company does a bit of everything and uses those various technologies in one product or service. We want to see applications. We want to see your applications if you have ideas like this. And it's not limited to the examples I've given. I'm sure there's a lot more that I haven't thought of, but we want to see your application come through if you have even the slightest idea that you think you are eligible. So in terms of who should apply, so you need to be a UK-based registered company or prove that you have an establishment in the UK and undertake the majority of your activity here, because you'll need to be looking for investment opportunities as well. So we are looking to support companies that are looking to raise investment in the next 6 to 9 months. We want to introduce you to investors and give you the opportunity to build those relationships, pitch, and be ready so that those investors can also get a return on their investment too. We are looking for founding team members that have at least one person with a Black or a mixed Black heritage to participate in the program. And your company needs to be using advanced technology. So needs to be using artificial intelligence or 5G or immersive technologies or distributed ledger technologies. These are the areas that Digital Catapult focus on, and we really think those technologies used in conjunction can be really powerful to open up new business opportunities. In terms of the next steps in the application process, we offer several ways for you to submit an application. It can either be written, a presentation or a pitch deck, or a video submission. Once you register, you'll be sent a link that will enable you to apply, and you can select your preferred mode of submission. Before you submit your application, if you have questions about it, you'll have an opportunity to chat with the Digital Catapult team for the rest of the open call before the deadline of submissions. So we'll be able to share a link with you, and you can email us as well if you don't have the questions right now. You can spend 15 minutes with us. You can write your application and save it as a draft. You don't have to complete it in one sitting. And the deadline for the application is the 29th of May. So that's in just over 2 weeks' time, 23:59 on the dot, the applications will close. So please do make sure that you get your applications in by that time. So that's the main bulk of the presentation for now. Right now, I think we've got a little bit of time for Q&A. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my screen and just have a look at some of the questions that have come through. With that being said, we do want to answer as many questions as possible, but we realize that some questions might require a more thoughtful answer and response. So if we can't answer them now, you will be able to send us an email with those questions, and we'll be able to gather them as well and put them on our frequently asked page on our website. So I'm just going to look at the questions now. So we've got a few, we've got some points and some questions. Yes, so there's a question around there being a demo day style pitching segment within the program to investors. So there'll be multiple opportunities to build relationships with investors. So throughout the program, Miriam, who can speak more to this, will be having a close relationship with the companies on board to understand, you know, the readiness of the company. And then at the end of the program, there will be an opportunity to speak with investors and pitch your product. But I'll give it over to Miriam to answer more fully.
Yeah, I think you covered it quite well, Evelyn. So we're in the early stages of planning the absolute final event. Of course, we do also want to ensure that we tailor the investment activities as closely as possible to the companies who do join, so you kind of receive the most benefit from there. But yeah, the event will be at some point in November, and we're really looking forward to kind of gathering some of the investment community there as well as part of that event to really, I guess, spotlight and also showcase the talent that's come through the program.
Thanks, Miriam. Another question is around knowing if your registration of applications is successful. So when you register to apply, you should get another email with a link to the application, and we use a platform called Submittable. If you haven't received that email, that automatic email response with that link, please do email FutureScope at Digital Catapult, and we will make sure that you get that form. Once we finish this Q&A, on my next slide, I'll have up our email address so that you can make note of that. And if you just email us, we'll make sure to send you the link. Another question is around how old the businesses can be. Is less than 5 years okay? So maybe Mira can also speak to this a little bit, but what we are looking for is early stage companies, so pre-seed or seed. So the age, it's not so much that we're concerned about the age, but more about where you are, where your company is in its journey. So if you've raised a little bit of money already, we're interested to see that traction. But the age, if I'm right, Miriam, is not so much dependent on that, but more where you are in your investment journey.
Right, it's not as much dependent on the age, although the company should be VC fundable, so you should be suitable for a venture capital funding at some point, or angel funding at some point down the line. So we're really looking at, if it has been going a while, we'd want to understand, what's happened, what's been the progress with the business to date. But if you're unsure, you can, send us a message offline, and we can check that with you. Thanks.
Thanks, Miriam. So another question we have is around, will beauty hair care platforms be considered? So I don't think we're against it, because we do have advertising as one of the areas in which we're interested in supporting. So what we need to see is a demonstration of how your company is innovating in the advertising space for that sector. So that's what we're really focused on. So, and advertising can cover multiple things and can draw in lots of different areas. So please do sending more details perhaps around your company and booking a time with us to chat through that if you want some more clarification.
Or if there's a music aspect to it as well. It's difficult without knowing what the platform is, but if there's some sort of music experience baked in, you know, then that's also valid, I would say.
We have also had some amazing companies that overuse kind of virtual and augmented reality in their kind of, you know, products and in their platforms. So as long as it's got advanced digital technology in there, then there's, you know, it's not exactly the sector. So this is for kind of digital entertainment sector, but there is kind of content and other things that might be applicable if you're also touching other areas too. So there's another question about the health sector. So there might be, we have also had some examples of kind of amazing content, again, that has been kind of developed for that sector, for training and things like that. So it's quite dependent on what your product or application is before we can kind of give you a definite yes or no.
Yeah, so I do encourage you to email us and book us some time to chat it through so that we know more exactly what your business is about. So another question is what funding is available for startups on the program? So the program doesn't provide investment per se, but we do provide a financial contribution to companies to enable them to participate on the program. So based on the number of companies that we select, there'll be a pot of 30k that will be distributed evenly between the companies to cover the costs in order for you to participate. The aim of the program is to not only get you investment ready, but also introduce you to investors. So that's the financial contribution that we'll be providing, and then we're going to work with you to get larger tickets of funding. Miriam, I don't know if you wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, I think you covered it. So as Evelyn mentioned, it is, and to emphasize, it is an investment readiness program. So we don't provide, you know, equity funding per se, but we will be working very closely with the investors and really looking to ensure that all companies that have joined the program are, you know, more investment ready and in a, you know, really strong position to go out and raise investment within hopefully the next 6 to 9 months. So that's also the stage that we're kind of looking at. If you're ready and you'll be looking to raise investment within the next 6 to 9 months, then that's also a good indicator as to whether you should apply as well.
Thanks, Miriam. Thank you for that question. Another one that has come through is, are we linked with any community organizations that help creators and entrepreneurs professionalize their brand, operations, and sales approach? So if your company is to join the program, then you will have access to our network, and our network does cover these areas. Yes, there'll be connections with those people who can help you develop in that area. As mentioned, Sony Music UK will be around. We have SoundCloud on board, and other community partners, and we have a large bucket of mentors as well that will be able to support you on those points. Another question is around, will the workshops be provided in person or online? So the program is going to be a blend of online and in-person events. So for example, the launch event would be in person, but generally speaking, the program will be online and remote first. So largely facilitated through Zoom, but there will be occasion when we want to meet in person to obviously cultivate and build those relationships that are always best done in person. There'll be times to meet the other companies who will be in the cohort. The final event will be in person and like partway through the program as well. But we do take an online first approach now, ever since the pandemic with our programs. So so that's our current policy. Who is best to contact regarding the application? Once the Q&A is done, on the next slide, I'll give you some information about who you can contact if you want to chat through your application. An interesting one is, will we fund one-off projects? So again, we won't actually fund a project on this program. With that being said, we are looking to we're looking to support businesses that are looking to be alive in the long term. So investors want to get a return on their investment. So there needs to be a demonstration of how that can be, there's a returnable investment on that. Miriam, did you want to add anything more to that?
Yes, I mean, with most business ideas, investors are looking to see if it's innovative, if it's viable, and if it's scalable. So part of the viability is ensuring we will kind of provide some of the support as well, bespoke on a one-to-one basis, and also with group activities that we'll have for the cohort. But we're really looking to kind of get to a point where and also expose you to kind of the investors. We'll have pitching live lounge events. You can get to practice and receive real feedback as well on your pitch and pitch deck for investors before the final showcase event that we're looking to host in November. So in terms of investment, that's something that we will kind of guide founders through and really have a structured, some structured support to ensure that you're kind of in a much stronger position and have a really compelling business case to be able to present and hopefully successfully raise your round.
Thanks, Miriam. So another question is getting preliminary feedback on applications before completion. So we don't want to like score the application when you have a chat with us, but you are able to talk to us to ask us if your idea, your business is eligible for the program. So in terms of getting preliminary feedback on the details of your application, we won't be able to provide that, but we can provide some guidance on what you should include. Another question is around sending in a detailed business plan. So we don't need a detailed business plan. If you are successful on getting on the program, then that's when we will do a more detailed review and a deeper dive into your company. So what we ask of you during the application phase is to just sending a pitch deck. On the form, it says it should be no more than 12 slides and answering the questions that we provided on the application form. So it doesn't need to be in depth at this point. Another another question we have is, can you do a hybrid application, part video, part presentation? Unfortunately, the platform that we're using won't allow us to do the part video and part presentation. So we do, you have to select one of those options. Another question is around, what stage should the technology be? If you've developed the tech but are yet to get meaningful traction, is that okay? That's an interesting question. Jessica, I see you popped up. Did you want to speak to that?
I'm going to say yes, that's fine. I mean, that's the whole point, because you have to have the technology though. There's another question about if you're a traditional business and you're thinking of using AI, but you haven't yet. You have to have started with advanced digital technology. But if you've got advanced digital technology concept or idea, but you haven't yet managed to, get your sales and get into the market, then yes, this is definitely a program suitable for you. I can also see there's a question about human computer brain interfaces and things that look fascinating. I love it. Even if I'm going to say as well, even if it doesn't fit into this program, there might be other digital catapult programs as well. So, if you have got a great advanced digital technology product or company, then we still want to hear from you as well. So don't disappear. But I think we're trying to keep, this is for digital entertainment sectors, but sometimes as well, you've got a product that could be applied in multiple sectors. That's also fun.
Thanks, Jessica. So another question is, as a mixed race individual who identifies as both Black and white, could you clarify the criteria for the program? Yes, so we're looking for founders who are Black or who are mixed with Black heritage. So yes, you to that person who asked that question, you do qualify for the program. In terms of the time commitment for the accelerator, so roughly speaking, I think it will be about a day a week. But with that being said, there are some aspects of the program that are compulsory for you to participate in. And when you do submit an application, you will see the dates of the compulsory activities, and then there'll be additional activities that we strongly encourage people to participate in to get the full benefit from our experts. But we realize that businesses need to run their business, and so we don't want to take too much of time away from founders. So yeah, so it's roughly 1 day a week, but you will be able to see the compulsory dates on our website on the frequently asked questions page, as well as on the application form before you submit. Is location-based immersive experiences something that would be eligible? Yes. Yes, 100%, that would be eligible. I have a product that seems to fit in perfectly what you're looking for, but the scope of my business as a whole is a lot broader. Will this be an issue? I don't see that as an issue. I think it's interesting and exciting to see how the core of your business could be applied to different areas. It's just the main thing is that it does have to have an element of digital entertainment and the technology that Digital Catapult specializes in. So a question is, can the program be for 2 people from the company? So we're looking for companies that obviously have at least one founder who's Black or with a Black heritage. In terms of actually participating in the program, we will need at least one person to participate in the activities. There's scope for you to describe who is in your team on the application form as well. So if you just inform us like who else is in your team that you would like to join the activities, I don't see an issue with us making accommodation for that generally. Any other questions? I think we had covered the point around idea stage startups, how early is too early. I think Jessica had mentioned that as long as you're using the tech and you're focused on the areas in terms of music, gaming, etc., then we would be interested to see an application from you. I think we've answered the question around in-person commitment. So that's it for the Q&A as of now. So thank you, everyone. I'll just share my screen again to give you information about the details in order to contact us and contact and apply to the program. So as mentioned already, the deadline for submissions is the 29th of May. That's a bank holiday Monday, our third one, at 23:59. There will also be 15-minute Q&A slots available if you want to chat to us further, if you have any more questions. So if you would like to have 15 minutes with us, if you just send an email to the futurescope@digicatapult.org.uk email with the title 15-minute Q&A slot, and we will send you a link to book that in. If not, you can just send in your question via email. But I just want to thank Sony Music UK, SoundCloud, and our other partners and our wider network for supporting us launch this program. We're super excited to have people on board. We've seen some really interesting questions and it seems interesting ideas in the Q&A chat already. So we hope to see applications from yourselves. But that is all for today. We're really happy that you could support us and join this event. So thank you and have a good day.